Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Six Figure Certified Coach. My name is Liv Chapman. I am the co-founder and CEO of IGC, or Inner Glow Circle. And I have a special treat for you today. This is a graduate of IGC's coach training. And I would say just a woman who is multidimensional, multi-talented, and has a lot of amazing insight and information to share with you today. So Dina Brass, welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing so good. I love this right now.
Good. And I really know that most people listening to this cannot see Dina right now, but she is wearing the most amazing outfit and hat, and she's an entire vibe. So we're definitely going to have to add some video to the social media on this episode, because you are embodying what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm thrilled.
Awesome.
So first thing, Dina, tell us about yourself, your company, your mission, your focus, anything that our listeners need to know.
So I'm Dina Brass. I actually started off, I owned a vintage clothing store, hence a lot of the clothes that I have it's vintage, thrifted, something out of nothing type of energy, very much like myself, actually. So, I am a spiritual advisor, a confidence consultant, life transformation coach, and I own a crystal shop online and soon to be open in Houston. It's going to be a crystal lounge. So it's going to have a crystal vibe.
Awesome. So Dina, what do you call, I just love the name of this. So tell everyone what you call your subscription boxes.
Oh, spiritual RX boxes.
Yes. I remember when you sent Katie and I our first one, I think it was awesome. And they're so well branded. Oh my God. Amazing. So you have this company, you do a million things supporting, other humans. You don't work exclusively with women, right?
No. I
didn't think so.
Any person that is trying to find out who they are through the lens that they have, mm-hmm. Right? And anyone who wants to kind of rewire and rework what they think they are or who they need to be and become who they want to become.
Mm. And you use a bunch of different modalities, as I would call them, to be able to do that.
Yeah. So it's funny because I've never been officially trained in neuro-linguistic and, NLP. So one of the major turning points in my life, and something that I not only preach, but I practice every day, is the affirmations of money coming easily and frequently. That's what kicked off this whole thing back in 2016, 2017. The first affirmation I ever said was money comes easily and frequently. And I can cry. That changed my life because that's never been a reality for me. That's never been a belief system that I was raised with. I never was raised with I was never raised in money. I was never, I worked at the strip club. I worked on the weekends. I had my 2 kids. I lived minimally. I only could work 2 days a week. Money coming easily and frequently was not something even in my realm of existence. And I heard one of my good friends, Andrea Lenore, say money comes easily and frequently. And she said, you just got to say, oh my God, I'm going to cry. You just got to say it every day. You just got to say it every day. You just got to say it all the time. You have no choice but to say it all the time and just think it all the time. And I was like, yeah, fucking right. You know what I mean? Yeah, right. What is this? Yeah, right. And I said it, money comes easily and frequently. And I watched The Secret. And Andrea was like, you cannot think anything else. You have to think it. You have to she said, just say it over and over again and you'll start to see it. Well, I remember going to Walmart and buying toilet paper because it was a necessity, right? I need toilet paper to wipe my butt. But I I had like $5 in my bank account. So I knew that buying that toilet paper, it was going to take my bank account like to like $1,
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I developed flushing is what I call it. So I felt like I couldn't buy the toilet paper, but I knew that the law of attraction says if you need the toilet paper, you got to get the toilet paper and know that you're going to be okay no matter what it looks like. Mm-hmm. So as I'm checking out, I'm flushing my brain with money comes easily and frequently, money comes easily and frequently, money comes, because if I said it enough times, fast enough, the scared thoughts weren't able to creep into my brain. So I forced myself by flushing.
Oh my God.
Only think money comes easily and frequently. Needless to say, it was very, very hard because once you stop flushing, the thoughts come in, but what if money comes easily and frequently, right?
Oh my God. It's like a shield.
It's like a shield. My life changed. It didn't happen overnight, but you start to get evidence of the thing that you're starting to reprogram your mind with. You start to gain evidence. You're like, oh my God, you get a check in the mail for $5 from like paying off your credit card too far, whatever. And you're like, oh my God, money comes. And even if it's $5, you start to get this evidence. So when I started my company, what better LLC than to name my company, my whole company, MCEAF, money comes easily and frequently.
I'm obsessed. I didn't know that until today when you told me that. I just think it's brilliant. And it's like the foundation. I mean, you can tell me, but it seems like the foundation for a lot of the work that you do. And also, what has come for your life.
100%, 100%.
So you went from vintage store to shifting your money mindset. I don't know which one came first, and then doing tarot readings and then coming through coaching school. And now you're kind of like what I would consider like a famous person online to a degree, like in all that you do. And you have such a great following. And how did it happen? Like, I understand the mantras and the changing your beliefs. Like I think that's one of the things that have come up on every episode. I get it, but I still feel like people who are listening to this and they're like, I want to make 6 figures as a coach or as a service provider, as an entrepreneur. How did it evolve? How did you get here?
So one of the first places I want to start is I see a lot of things online about 6-figure business, as if it's going to happen. Like you're going to wake up and just become a 6-figure business. And that's just not the case.
Right.
You can taste it, smell it, and touch it. Doesn't mean it's as close as the visuals and the taste may be. You don't know. And it's relinquishing control and going faith-based in whatever that is, in following what your core is telling you to do. That's your indicator. That feels good. That full body yes. That's the thing that's going to point you towards that 6-figure number. Is that, oh, well, am I making the right decision? Am I making the right decision? Does it feel good?
Right.
If it feels good, you go with your gut. You have to relinquish a little bit of the logical, but there's certain things that there is no logical explanation to it. When you are in alignment with it, it comes. And you have to have faith in that. That's why working on yourself is number one. I mean, through all of coach training, yes, I was trained to be a wonderful active listener and coach and being able to ask powerful questions and all of those things. But one thing that coach training gave me was knowledge of self.
Yeah.
Right? Really connecting deep, because yes, I'm being taught to ask certain questions, but I'm asking myself those same questions.
Yeah.
I'm getting deeper and deeper in myself. I mean, I would be lying to say that that's where my self-awareness started, but I assume just like a lot of women that are getting ready to sign up for coach training this year, they've done a lot of the work. They've been through a lot of the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm too damaged to be a coach, or I'm too broken to be a therapist.
I do. I mean, I believe that like you have to have, if your life is perfect and you want to be a coach, sure, sign up. We'll make sure we support you. But I don't think that most women who go through our program feel like their life is perfect. I feel like most women have been going, either on the hamster wheel of not being able to figure out what to do with their unique gifts, and also second guessing their entire life and everything that's happened to them, or what we would say happened for them.
So true. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess getting there, started off at the strip club. I worked there for 12 years. And during my strip club days, I opened up my vintage clothing store. Because I had done my taxes for the first time in my life in 2015. And I had this chunk of money that had come back from the state, and I took it and I went to Goodwills and thrift stores, and I bought I bought a whole bunch of vintage clothing. And then I had so much because I wanted to do it online. And then I realized, oh my God, I can't do it online. I need to get a store. And then I got a store. Now working at the strip club paid my bills and also paid for the store.
Wow.
The store didn't pay for itself, but that was my first heart move. That was my first taste of my own business. I had an actual storefront in a strip mall with a name, a store, oh my God. And I loved it. And that really gave me a sense of purpose, right? It welled up that feeling within me that said, oh my God, this is my life purpose. I thought that was my life purpose. And I don't think that that's far off. I don't think that owning a vintage clothing store for me now is out of the question. I don't at all. I think that would be something I would love to do still.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a means to get me to understand my own confidence and my own energy. That's where it started. So trying your knack at a passion project, that would be the first step, I feel like, towards a 6-figure business, would be going with what you're heart led to do.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start a vintage clothing store because I know I'm going to make so much money.
Right.
I didn't it because I love vintage clothing. I have an addiction to shopping. Why not have that get paid for? And I can make money while doing this because I know the stuff will sell because I have an eye for it. It was never money motivated. It was never, I'm doing it for the money.
Right.
When you put value out, the money's going to come. That needs to be a part of your belief system.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's still kind of how to make money doing what you love. That was the first thing that you were this makes sense. My intuition is saying yes here. I enjoy this. I love it. And I would probably do it even if I didn't see the external validation or result of money right away.
That's why your why, what they teach us in coaching class, your why is so important. Why do you do this work?
It's the only thing that's going to keep you going every day.
Even if your why is because the trauma that I've been through isn't going to define me and keep me under it. If that's your driving factor to be a coach, I want to coach other women through this. I've been through this. I learned how to heal this. If that's your driving factor, boo-boo, get out there. There's so many people that you can help. But he always had his box on his desk, and he would take me weekly to go see Maria, who's a psychic in Waterbury, which was one of his really good friends. I spent a large chunk of between the ages of 10 to 12 years old weekly in a psychic medium's shop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I would watch Maria. I would watch her read tarot, and I looked up to her, love her so much. And I saw my dad's tarot cards, and I was like, I need to know. So I opened up this box. I'm playing with the cards. I'm looking at all the imagery. Of course, I have no idea what each card means or anything like this. I'm a child. I bring it to school. I was reading tarot cards for all the kids in my library. I ended up getting in trouble. For it. But they took away my card, whatever. Anyways, but I knew that the first time I felt in connection with source, in regards to reading, was I was reading a young lady who will call her penny for the sake of privacy in 7th grade. And I was reading the cards from the pictures. And as I was looking, this is something that every, life coaching graduate, and also if you're listening to this and you're like, I think I want to sign up, but blah, blah, blah. Imposter syndrome, something major that we talked about. And that's really stuck with me, not only for myself, but also for my other clients. I worked at the strip club for 12 years. I was a hip hop artist. I rapped. I know it's a lot. It's like, I feel sometimes when I talk about myself, I sound like one of those liars that always do everything. Oh my God. And I have video proof all over the internet. Anyways, so I was a hip hop artist. I worked at the strip club and I owned a vintage clothing store, and it was all intertwined and it was awesome. But that's what everybody knew me as. Dina Brass, Venom Vintage owner, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
They did not know me as Dina Brass, psychic medium or tarot reader at all. Nobody, right? I hadn't touched tarot cards in years. I mean, I always had my tarot cards, always been a part of me, but I never read. I didn't cold read. I didn't read people like randoms.
Yeah.
My friends and my family, blah, blah, blah.
You said that you created the evidence, right? And I think one of the things that you've taught me so much and taught our community so much about is just showing up unapologetically as yourself, being authentic, even if the path doesn't make sense to other people or the offering doesn't make sense to other people, but owning it so deeply that you can't not be successful.
Amen.
So go ahead.
People get so caught up in focusing on the things that aren't going to work for people. What if they don't like this? Or what if they are not the ones for you? You're so worried about A, B, C, and D that have absolutely no desire to support you, no desire to understand you. They want to tear you down, or they want to look at you. Welcome those people.
Right. And it's like, you cannot allow these people to block your blessings. They need to be blocked. A, B, C, and D may be hating on you because they're jealous or insecure, or don't understand, or blah, 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 dealing with their own shit. But there's the whole other thousands of people, which clearly you have found and supported, that are here for it.
The number one understanding that I have with myself when it comes to social media is that I create my audience. My audience doesn't create me.
Mm.
And that's where you can tell where your authenticity meter is. Because when you're showing up and you're going, okay, well, nobody would ever wear this colorful blouse. Maybe I shouldn't, because then I won't be relatable. Maybe people won't be able to relate to me. Maybe they'll think I'm wild and crazy, and they're just not wild and crazy. So I should probably just wear maybe my favorite color, yellow. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, then I go to put the yellow one on, and then what happens? But not a lot of people like yellow. So maybe I should look up the psychology of trustable people and see what color they wear, because then I'll be more. What kind of life is that? No, that's not authentic to you.
Right. And then you're going to feel trapped, just like you did in that job you're trying to get out of, or whatever it is.
Which is the cycle, which if that's already your cycle, when you go to break your cycle, you're going to find more of your cycle popping up because you're trying to break it.
Mm-hmm. And you're hyper aware.
Welcome them.
Yeah. And so, okay, I have the path to the tarot. So you start doing the tarot readings on Facebook Live. How do you then, or why do you then decide to incorporate coaching? Because I know, and one of the things that you said was ask me about this, because you like the coaching aspect even more now. So how does that work?
I am not one to tell people what they want to hear.
Love that about you, honestly.
That's actually one of the reasons why I was so in alignment with IGC, was because one of the straw that broke the camel's back, and in me investing such and such grand into my education in becoming a coach, was the line, say the things that no one says, is one of the principles. Would you call it a principle or like a value?
Core value. Yeah. Say the thing that no one else is willing to say. Yeah. That's required.
I have goosebumps. I saw that. I said, this is my tribe. This is where I need to be. Say the thing that no one wants to say. That doesn't mean go out there hurting feelings. That doesn't mean go out there being so blunt that you're just not caring about anyone else. That means say the things that no one wants to say, because that one thing may never have been said by a doctor, therapist, friend, auntie, uncle, father, mother. And that's the thing that you say that leads your client to this major breakthrough of, oh my God, my whole life is going to change from here on out.
Yep.
Because one thing, right?
Yep.
So in my tarot practice, you get people, and here we go. This is my logical brain. People don't come to get a tarot reading when everything is absolutely fabulous. Okay. Oh my God, my life is amazing. Let me go get a tarot reader and see what the cards say. I mean, sometimes they do. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes they do. At least for me, maybe it's because they trust me. But for the most part, when your heart's broken, when you feel lost, when you don't know what's next, when you need a word from God, when you just feel like you don't fit in, or you feel like you have no idea, or when you're in this cycle of an abusive relationship, or that's when you get a reading. Okay. Is Tommy the one for me? Is Gerard cheating on me? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Right? If you come to me and ask me, is this person the one? You're going to be so disappointed that you just paid $77 for a session, because I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, they're absolutely 100% the one right now that you need, because if they weren't in vibration with you, you wouldn't be with them. And then look at me like this, like, well, what do the cards say though? Well, what do the cards say though? So like, I was finding that within my practice, I was doing tarot readings and I wasn't using the cards. Right. So like, I mean, I use the cards, like I'll see that, like, I won't use the card. I don't need the cards. Right. You know, intuitive understanding, whatever, boom, boom, boom. And I would be giving these people my soul, this message, this, oh my God, amazing advice or whatever, to my own horn, toot. And they would be like, well, what do the cards say? And then when I would pull cards, on my life, I will not make cards fit what I want them to say. But 9 out of 10 times, the cards literally say exactly what I was just already intuitively speaking to these people, right? And then they'll believe it.
Would you say that the cards and the downloads or the channeled messages that you get from source or spirit really just are reiterating what people already know? Typically, they just want someone to maybe tell them otherwise, or
sometimes and sometimes not.
Yeah.
Sometimes absolutely 100%, where, you know, you'll get someone and they'll say, oh my God, that's such a confirmation. Or I have a woman on my live, we'll call her Jamie for the sake of whatever. I had given her a reading and I was sitting there and I'm like, have you ever thought about, because we're talking about, like, you know, life path and things like that. And I just felt in my soul. And of course there's no tarot card that says author, right? Yeah. But like, I felt in my soul, like, well, did you ever think about writing a book? And I mean, she said, holy shit. I stopped writing. I've always wanted to be a writer. I stopped writing when I was, and I can get emotional. I'll get emotional right now. Okay. This person shit on my dreams of being an author, and I've always wanted to do that. And I can't believe you just said that. So like, is that in her soul already? Absolutely 100%. Had I not said that to her, would she have that spark of remembrance? I don't know.
That's what I mean. I think that the tarot, I'm like just live on air putting this together, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like sometimes it's because of that vibration where you get that message because you already have it somewhere in you, but maybe it's not on the surface or you haven't said it out loud. And then the cards or the source message is like confirmation in some way. Yeah. And then it's like, but what do we do with it? And I'm guessing that might be where the coaching comes in.
Amen. And that's why I love doing tarot, and I still do tarot. I do tarot daily. I do tarot for people all the time, but the way that I do tarot, once again, I create my audience. My audience doesn't create me. Mm-hmm. You pay me because you know what I do. So you know that when I'm going to give you a tarot reading, I'm not just going to be like, oh my God, this person is your soulmate. You're going to meet this person. You're going to have 7 babies and da, da, da. I'm not just going to like make up some bullshit for you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be like, let's look at, boom, let's look deeper into this. Okay. But it looks like you're afraid to be alone. The 9 of Pentacles in reverse is showing me that you have all the makings to be this independent woman, but you're afraid to be alone. So while you're asking me, is this person the one? The deeper vibrational resonance underneath it is really your fear of being alone. And that's just not true. So it's not about Tommy. It's about you.
Yeah.
And so that's how I do my readings, is I don't tell you what you want to hear. Or let's just say I give you a reading right now, Liv, and it comes up like quote unquote, like negative cards. Other tarot readers will say, oh no, this, that, and the third. No, you shouldn't blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't blah, blah. I don't care about what you shouldn't do. I care about what you should do. So if I look at the cards and I see some shit I don't like, that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what you need to do to avoid this.
Yeah. Do you have to come to a tarot with a question, or can it just be like, I'm looking for a sign or a message?
Message all the time. I get that's where I think where I am in my practice is, I have such a following that appreciates and honors my messages and my connection, to where I'll say 8 out of 10 people that get readings say, what does the universe want me to know?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. And so you do the readings, and then you give people the option to work with you, life coach with the intuitive approach. So how did you decide to add in coaching? How does it play a role in your company now?
In the sense of,
like you decided to add on coaching as an option, right? Yes. And like, of course, go, do the personal development work of coaching and then add it on. Like,
so for me, life coaching is where I really do my one-on-ones. Mm-hmm. Instead of pushing one-on-one tarot readings or one-on-one, like instead of, if I'm doing like live readings, tarot, I would say I will push people more towards to sign up for a month of life coaching, or at least a 90-minute intensive, versus get another tarot reading.
Right.
Be like, if you're going to get tarot, it's because you just want to be told. Mm. You don't want to come up with your understanding. The confidence is lacking in your ability to make good decisions. And as women, okay, and no, women are not my only clients, but as women, we need to shore ourselves up in our own divine goddess, our own divine understanding. We have that. Everything, all the answers are deep within our DNA. They're already there. You know what's best for you. You know what's best for your life. That's why I was so in alignment with coaching. One of the values, they are their own expert of their life. Mm-hmm. How many times I have to shut my mouth in sessions and I'll be like, you know what you need to do? As a matter of fact, you know what? You don't need to do anything. You're the expert of your own life. What do you think you should do?
And that's exactly the responsibility piece, right? That's where you allow someone to finally take responsibility for themselves, their actions, their commitments, their goals, all of it. And it's like, we don't want to, I don't knock therapy at all, because I've been in it. I go back here and there, but I sat and talk therapy for like 7 years at one point. And I'm like, I'm sure it was helpful. It was helpful. I healed a lot of stuff. But at some point, it's like, I needed someone to say, like, now you're at choice. Like, you can sit in this chair and keep telling me the same stories over and over, or you can do something with it. And again, this is sometimes just the difference between like therapy versus coaching. But for me, I remember when I first went to a coach and I was like, but I'm the victim of all of this. And I have all of these things and that's just the way I am. And she's like, do you want to change any of it? And I was like, oh shit, I guess. And then she was like, what do you actually want for your life? And I'm like, literally no one has ever asked me that. They asked me what I want for dinner, but nobody ever asked me what I wanted for my life.
Who do you want to be when you stop telling yourself who you think you are? And that's where the trauma part comes up, because I would love to call myself a trauma coach. I would love to call myself that eventually. I want to go do certain things before I really call myself that. There is, I think I might be I was going to go in December and I didn't go because I just had a lot going on. But I think I might go to Norway and learn trauma releasing exercises and go and do somatic like learning at these like retreats for like somatic like trauma releasing therapies.
Wow.
That you do with your clients, which is what I would like to practice and I already do practice this in my retreat, but I would like to get more trained in it instead of just simply intuitively doing what I feel is right for the client, but doing like tried and true practices that are amazing for clients.
That's what I love about like the IGC community and the women we've been interviewing too. It's like, we know that a lot of like coaching and entrepreneurship starts with your like God-given gifts, right? But like the commitment to doing things ethically and seriously, like we as coaches are holding these like sacred containers where people are undergoing like major transformation. And we have to take responsibility for that by going through the proper channels, making sure we're trained, like, and doing really high quality work. And it's like, you can teach these listeners how to show up on a live, how to build your audience. I know you can, and you do it all the time. And you share that with our community so much, but like, there's nothing better too than just being really, really great at what you do. That's what keeps people coming back and referring their friends to you and having, I know you told me that you've sold out a retreat coming up in January.
So this is our second sold out retreat. And then I'm pretty sure we're doing a retreat in May in Puerto Rico. That one's going to sell out. And this is so off topic.
I love Puerto Rico. Okay. I told you yesterday.
I had this great idea, right? So you know how everybody like either will pay in full or they'll put a deposit down.
Yeah.
So for this next retreat, I'm taking deposits only. And everybody, I have 10 spots for deposits. I have 9 spots. Somebody just sent me their deposit last night and I haven't even launched it yet. But I have 9 spots left for deposits, and I'm going to be taking those deposits and I'm going to spin the wheel and I'm going to raffle off one of those people who were already going to pay the $1,900 to come to the retreat. One of those people is going to win their whole retreat for only $200.
Oh my gosh.
And then if you don't,
so everyone needs to go put their deposit in now.
And if you don't win, it's like, okay, well, I just sent you $200. What happens? Well, if you don't win, then I just take that and just take $200 off your. So that's their deposit,
Oh, that's really exciting.
I'm really excited about it.
So now you offer the tarot, you offer the Facebook lives, and you give away a lot of free content too. So if anybody's like, I don't know how to connect with my audience and share, they got to follow you. We're going to add everything in the show notes, but you offer the lives, you offer the tarot, you offer the coaching, you have these retreats, you've grown this 6-figure company.
Yes.
And I mean, you can tell us about the numbers, but I think one of the things that I care more about, and I think our listeners do, and like breaking up that, whole 6-figure or la-di-da coaching thing is like, what defines your 6-figure life now? Like what makes you feel that like 6-figure energy? Quote
Oh
unquote.
my God. I am able to invest in anything I want to invest in. I think that lights me up the most. If I want to make an order in, in Afghanistan or India to, so for crystals, there's certain minerals you get from certain regions.
Yeah.
But if I want to make an $8,000 investment in crystals I can only get in Peru, I can do that. I could do that. I did that. I just did that like twice last week. You know what I mean? And having that financial burden released I'm able to snowball my money. I'm able to into if I want crystals, I can get my crystals, and then I can make, if I buy $8,000 worth of crystals, I can make $36,000 off of that. Like, so it's more and more and more and more, and the money and the possibilities and the income and it's just such everything. It's just everything.
So it's like a feeling of expansion and like knowing that your commitment creates more opportunities for expansion.
Yes. And I'm able to do whatever I want, and I can go wherever I want, and I can eat whatever I want, and I can play however I want, and I can lay in bed all day if I want to. I can make all my clients be on one day, and for the rest of the week, if I don't ever want to touch the internet or anything, I can shut everything off if I want to. You know what I did for Christmas?
What?
I booked a tree house, and I went and stayed in a tree house on a lake up in a tree for 2 days by myself.
Oh, that's amazing.
I just went, and I would be lying if I said that I did it just all on my own. I do have a partner, a very loving, supportive man in my life and I can cry. Of course. Oh my God, it's the third. I have the most amazing partner who is so supportive of everything that I do, that if I want to go in a treehouse for 3 days by myself, I go. If I have a client in Ohio that is severely depressed right now, and I'm going to go surprise her in February. She doesn't know it. So, but
make sure she doesn't listen to this.
Right. But I'm going to go surprise her, and her daughters are picking me up, and I'm just going to go walk into her house like that's out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And guess what? That's because I have a 6-figure business. So no, I didn't have to ask anyone to pay me. You know what I mean? You didn't have to buy my ticket. You didn't have to do anything. I felt led. I booked a ticket to fucking Columbus. I just want to go visit my client because she deserves it.
That's it though. That's it. And the other thing that I'm hearing and what you're saying, Dina, is like, you're living your authentic purpose. So it's like, oh, I'm working, I'm going to see a client, or I'm getting on even Facebook Lives or whatever, but like you actually like what you're doing all the time.
Love it. I love it. Oh, I love it so much. I love it so much. This is heaven. This is heaven feels like.
Oh my God. I love you. I feel actually extremely energized through this conversation. And I know that our listeners are probably feeling that too. And so just to kind of like wrap up for this episode, like, where do we find you? I know I've mentioned your Facebook Lives, and so have you multiple times. So like, this will go in the show notes, but just tell everyone, how to stalk you.
Just Dina Brass. It's very important, y'all. Pay attention to branding. Dina Brass across the board. There's not anything different. TikTok. I don't have anything on YouTube, but you could find me on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like every Brass, DINABRASS, Dina Brass, at Dina Brass, Instagram. Sorry, that was an alarm to call my child. My child lives in Connecticut. My oldest moved with my mom in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's, and that's another thing. Just don't have, just allow. Everybody's on their own path. Don't take anything personally, because it's not about you. People are living their own life. But Dina Brass across the board.
Perfect. So we will make sure that is everywhere. And And, if you're listening to this now and you know somebody who, has multiple passions or is starting to figure out their soul's purpose and needs that nudge to just be themselves and do themselves and like make it happen, please share this episode with them. Share Dina's info. She gives so much amazing free content too. So if that's all you can take on right now is the free stuff before you're ready to take the leap, like please follow her, hop on her lives. And Dina, thank you so much for being here and getting so vulnerable and just sharing it all.
Thanks for asking me powerful questions.
Love you.
Love you.